This Premier League Matchday 12 picks edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code PLGP to get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Rebet. Rebet is a new social sportsbook available in 45 states. Download the Rebet app and use the code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $100. And we're brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing college football and the NFL with Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMN. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Thursday, November the 21st, and we are here, thank the Lord, to handicap some Premier League football. Match day 12 taking place Saturday, Sunday, Monday this week. Joining us to the delight of the watching millions on time is Mr. Barry Peraluna. Barry, congratulations. Welcome along. How are you doing?
Evening. As Harry Dougherty's pointing out, I'm too early. I'm on time for a change. But yeah, looking forward to this one. Looking forward to getting right back into the proper stuff because, Christ, we have been scraping the barrel. We've had to get artificial intelligence involved and done a bit of everything. Just to try and keep things ticking over, haven't we? Everything but pick many international picks, which shows how much love we've got for that.
Yeah. We did our best, but everyone's in the same boat. We weren't enjoying it, but neither were the listeners. So if we've got to suffer, everyone can suffer together, but we're back, Barry.
I mean, on the subject of artificial intelligence, someone...
will you stop saying? I thought we banned that the other day, and you said it twice in the first fucking minute.
We didn't. You banned it. But as you know, you've got no authority here over me. And someone did comment, so it can't go because someone commented on the YouTube the other day saying how out of order you were to try and ban the use of artificial intelligence. Did you see that comment?
Who was that by?
Thoughts Not Opinions was the name. I don't know if it's one of our regulars going under a different pseudonym, but I wasn't happy with your behaviour.
Right, but surely though, Buzz, anybody could just type that into the box. They don't need to tune in to find out what it said when you typed it into the box. They could just type it into the box themselves.
It's all about how you ask the question, though, Malcolm. You don't understand.
I'm not having it, Barry.
No. Well, anyway, he said, poor form not letting Baz share artificial intelligence thoughts. He clearly stated at the time it was used for historical data. So just so you know, it's not going anywhere, Malcolm. I will bring up the use of AI as and when I please, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, just so you know, I think it's a load of absolute bollocks. But Barry, you're right. This really is our cup final between now and Christmas, Barry. This is when we need to hunker down, concentrate. Did you know, Barry, there are 2 days between now and Christmas Eve, 2 days off from Premier League, Championship, Champions League, Europa League, or AFL Cup. 2 days off between now and Christmas Eve, between those 5 Premier competitions. So it's going to be pedal to the metal here, but we'll still be going twice a week. But YouTube shorts every day, keep an eye on the socials, etc. And obviously, if anyone's got any picks or thoughts, by all means, continue hitting us with them wherever you can get hold of us. Because the time is now, Barry. We actually done all right last Premier League match day, so I feel like we've warmed up for it. 11 games in is a nice sample. There's no excuses now, Baz. So yeah, 2 games between now and Christmas Eve, and then I don't think there's many games between Boxing Day and New Year, actually, is there? So you're probably thinking maybe three days off between now in New Year's Day, Baz. So very much looking forward to it. Lots to get to. I've got a couple of things I want to bring up first, Barry. Tit list. We haven't broached a tit list for a while. And this is a bit of a controversial one because I don't know if it is football related. And my nomination, or just someone worth discussing, Baz, is Rebecca Vardy. Do you have any thoughts on Rebecca Vardy? I just
Not
couldn't be
really.
asked. Like, she's clearly in the past made a bit of a tit of herself. And this is jungle related, so our American and Canadian listeners might not know that we have a I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. And Mrs. Rooney, the wife of the Plymouth Argyle manager and shaved bear made entirely out of corned beef man, Wayne Rooney, is in the jungle, and she's got beef, not just corned beef, she's got actual beef with Rebecca Vardy. But Rebecca Vardy is on a daily basis just making 45-minute bitchy videos on the Sun, and I just couldn't be arsed with it, Barry. Like, he must be sitting in the house thinking, for fuck's sake. He seems all right, Jamie Vardy. He's a bit of a knob, but as discussed, I'm a bit of a knob. You're a bit of a knob. That's fine. We're absolutely all allowed to be a bit of a knob. He seems like a decent bloke. I reckon he'd be good fun in the pub. He must be furious with his missus going on like that, Barry. She's a right tit.
She's not good on the tit list. Because to be honest, Malcolm, I haven't seen anything of Rebecca Vardy this week because I don't watch that jungle stuff. And Rebecca Vardy clearly hasn't made it into my algorithm on social media. So I literally have no clue what you're talking about. So no is the answer.
Do you know who is on the tit list? Callum's asking us again. And every time someone asks, I have to go through all of these jotters because it's in here somewhere and I don't know where it is. So I can do it now while you're saying things. It might be. Anyway, I'll try. I'll put them down here, and I'll find out who's on the tit list between now and then. That's fair enough, Barry. I just did want to point out that couldn't be bothered being her. And like I say, Jamie must be furious about that. The only other thing I've got, and this is an audience participation, so there's a few people live. We're going to carry this going for the entirety of the show, Barry, and we'll reveal the answer at the end. For the first time last night, Barry, in 49 years, I ate something I've never eaten before. All I want to know is, from the people, what did I eat last night? You can have one guess each. That's all, one guess each. I'm going to write down all the guesses and we'll reveal at the end what I ate last night. That's my crack, Barry. Do you have anything you want to tell us about before we move on?
Not really. I'm just looking at the answers. I was also trying to think of my guess. Someone has already gone in there with oysters. I was going to say oysters.
I was going to say part of my notes were it wasn't cock because I knew 80% of the listeners would immediately type cock in the thing. No, it wasn't, Andy. Don't be so childish. That's a strike for you.
Harry Dougherty's took my guess of oysters, so I'll come up with something else by the end of the show. But I, like Callum was saying in the chat, you're the type of person that would eat absolutely anything, and that's why I think this is a difficult one because I don't think there's much you wouldn't eat. Like apart from the mushrooms that you threatened to eat from the garden and then bottled it, I'm assuming it isn't those.
Oddly enough, the part of the reason I was talking about this, I was chatting to Terza this morning. And we were talking about I'm a Celebrity and the people who go in there with no intention of taking part in any of the stupidity, because I couldn't, so I just wouldn't, and I couldn't do the eating challenges. So I do like eating odd parts of weird animals, but like in a restaurant setting, do you know what I mean? I wouldn't just like pick something, a spider up off the path and scran it or anything like that. So no, you've got me wrong a little bit. I do like my food, but not so much all the weird stuff like so. No. Any other new guesses there? What did I not say? Everyone's allowed one guess, Barry. I've lost my pen now because I threw all those things down there looking for the tip list. I've got myself very discombobulated. I've got another pen. Right. What's the plan, Barry? We're getting on with the picks now.
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. I'm going to tell you first about. Promised I was going to do these on time. 5 minutes late already. MyBookie.ag, SGPN started out with MyBookie And now we are back again. Check out the new and improved website. Great on mobile, plus props for every game and the live dealer, casino, new early cash out options. That we like tonight on my bookie is it's the Steelers and the Browns, isn't it? And I've been using my special stats site and have picked out Jalen Warren over 13.5 receiving yards. It's around about 10 to 11. So a couple of catches, 13.5 yards for Warren for the Steelers. Head to mybookie.ag with the promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rebet. Rebet is a brand new social sports book available in 45 states. Huge market of betting opportunities available on Rebet. It's easy to use, great for people in states where traditional sports books may be restricted. Download Rebet in the App Store. Use the promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $100. That's Rebet, promo code SGPN. Joe Dollar likes Warren. He wants to ladder him up. So yeah, get up the ladder, Joe. I'm with you. Joe is here. Callum, Lee, Harry, Andy. Welcome along, everybody. Who else is in the chat? Oh, the backers people here as well. If you are lurking, by all means, say hello. Give us your picks as we go along. I didn't write the banners, Barry. You know where we've started clicking on the banners so the things are on the screen. I didn't do that this week. So you'll have to, it's purely aesthetic, I'll be honest with you. But lunchtime on Saturday, 12:30 kickoff, 7:30 Eastern time, is Leicester City taking on Chelsea. Leicester City are 5-1. The draw is 7-2 plus 350. Chelsea 1-2 minus 200. Leicester, no winning 3 now. Lost 3-0 at Man United last time out. Although actually they did play okay. They've played 4 of the top 9 and they've lost all 4. They lost 4-2 at Arsenal, 2-1 at Fulham. And then at home, they lost 3-1 v Forest and 2-1 v Villa. So that's a pretty strong trend, Baz. All 4 games against teams in the top half, they've lost with both teams scoring. Chelsea in good form. They actually drew the last 2 games, but I thought they played well against Arsenal and Man United. They beat Newcastle. That looks better now, how Newcastle have gone. And they lost at Liverpool by playing okay. This is easier, but it is hard for me to get away from that Leicester trend. It just fits really well. They're competing quite well. They're scoring the odd goal, and they're getting beat against the better teams. Chelsea have only kept 2 clean sheets all season, which tells me Leicester can get on the score sheet. And Chelsea are 11-2 in their last 13 games as a favourite, Barry. Everything just ticks that box. Chelsea to win and both teams to score. Literally everything. Can't get away from it. And it's a really nice price, Baz. It is 17-10 plus 170. So Chelsea to win with both teams to score, 17-10 plus 170.
I'm just chuckling at some of the answers.
Hot black lime. Where did that come from?
I mean, that's an old story from this podcast. Only those who've been around for over 12 months will remember the hot black lime. And Callum's guess of a turnip is a bit more current because the turnips came up a couple of episodes ago. That was a popular story as well.
Yeah, somebody on Twitter, I can't remember who it was, said the turnip story saved the last episode, which was, I think we can all agree, absolute shite. But the turnip tale saved it. I remember Hot Black Lime, which, by the way, is an excellent name for a band. I can't remember what the story was, though, but
I'm sure it was some sort of microwave experiment from you.
Oh, yes,
Anyway,
I air fried it, bud. I think. Did I not air fry the lime to see what happened?
Possibly.
And all that happened was I had a hot black lime at the end of it. Excellent. Leicester, Chelsea.
Yeah. So Chelsea, they have had a bit of a slide lately. Just 1 win in the last 5 league games. But it was a tricky run of games in that time, though. They've played a few of the bigger teams in amongst that. And I think this might represent a bit of a good opportunity for them to get back to winning ways. Leicester no win in their last 3. Just 1 point picked up in the last 3 games from Leicester. And their defensive frailties stand out for me for Leicester. You've sort of pointed to them always scoring a goal. I'm looking at the defensive. They conceded 8 versus Man United over 2 games. Now, that doesn't bode very well because Man United don't score many goals. They conceded 3 at home to Forest, 4 against Arsenal. And even in the win over Southampton, they conceded 2 to Southampton, who can't score goals against anybody either. So do worry about Leicester defensively. And I think Chelsea for goals here might be the way to go. I haven't taken the team total. It's 11-8 for Chelsea to score 3 or more. You've got to go to get a decent price here. And they might need a few because, as you pointed out, Leicester have only failed to score once in the league all season. But I'm going to take the handicap. It's a similar price. So if Chelsea do get 3 goals, the handicap comes right into play. Chelsea minus 1.5 at 5-4. So I've still got a 2-0 on my side if Leicester do fail to register a goal. But I think I think Chelsea will bounce back here. I think Chelsea will win this. And I'm going to take them on a handicap. Chelsea minus 1.5 on the handicap at 5-4 plus 125.
So 3-1 Chelsea, Baz, is
that's the
it's
one,
right in the sweet spot for everybody. Harry likes Nonny Madueke to get on the score sheet, 11-4 plus 275. He looks really good for England. Do you know what I like about Nonny Madueke? He's got a really nice face. I just like his face. He's got looks like a really nice boy. Do you know what I mean? Okay, to the tip list. The tip list is currently Mark Goldbridge, Michael Owen, Rio Ferdinand, Mikel Arteta, Anthony, and Ben Brereton Diaz. So who was asking about Mikel Arteta is indeed on the tip list. Rebecca Vardy.
I'm surprised Anthony's still on there because he's just irrelevant now, isn't he? Like completely irrelevant. But
I can't remember what he'd done actually either.
I can't remember. Probably beating someone up or
it doesn't matter.
I don't know.
You don't have to.
Sexual assault or something like that.
Callum was asking about Thogden. I said that Lionel Messi would definitely remember him. That did make it onto my radar, actually. I was telling Bob about that tonight. But yeah, absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, he's not going on anywhere, Thogden. He is not relevant enough. Saturday, 3 o'clock. It's Courtney's favourite time of the week where I go. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3 o'clock kickoffs on Saturday. Starting with Arsenal taking on Nottingham Forest. Arsenal 9-25, minus 277. The draw is 15-4 plus 375. Yeah. And Forest are 17-2 plus 850 bars. Arsenal Forest.
Yeah, Arsenal come into this fresh, don't they? Having given all of their international stars a break during the international break. No doubt Friday, Arteta will be there telling us Saka's doubtful, Rice is doubtful. I'd be amazed if either of them miss out. I think they'll be just fine for this one. They probably needed a rest, to be fair. Arsenal probably one of the teams who needed the break. On a 4-game winless streak in the league. 3 of those 4 went under 2.5 goals. Remember the start of the season, low scoring as well. Unders went 4 straight games to start the season. And Forest have got a similar record, 7-4 to the under Forest. I think that's the same with Arsenal, 7-4. And also,
you're right.
Forest also started the season with 4 straight unders, but they've just seen their last 3 games go over 2.5, which has been a bit of a turnaround for Forest games. The overs is a favourite here at 4-5. Unders is evens. And as well as Forest have done so far, I think we both agree that we think there'll be a little bit of regression from them, bit of a drop-off. I think they'll continue to be strong defensively. I think that'll be their strength this season. But I think it's at the other end. Goals will be a problem. You talked the other day about Chris Wood not being able to sustain what he's done so far. I tend to agree. So I think there might be a chance for an overdue Arsenal clean sheet, potentially here. But at the same time, I don't see Arsenal putting loads away, particularly against a strong Forest defence. Newcastle are the only team to put 3 past Forest this season. Brighton are the only team to put 2 past them. Nobody else has managed more than 1 goal against Forest this season. That includes Chelsea and Liverpool. So I fancy Forest will keep it tight. Arsenal might win it. They might get 1-0, possibly 2-0, something like that. But the pick for me is going to be the unders. I think the unders at 2 at evens looks a decent price. So Arsenal v Forest under 2.5 goals at evens for me, please.
I've got 2 paragraphs here, Baz, that basically says the same thing and alights on the same pick. as you. Absolutely the same process. No winning for Arsenal, not playing well. Few injuries for Arsenal. You mentioned Rice and Saka. They probably will play. I think Calafiori's still out. Ben White's now going to miss out. They've only got 4 handicaps all year, and 3 of those were against Southampton, Wolves, and Leicester. So 1 to 3 is too short. I'm not interested. I don't want them on the handicap. Forest, we did think might just regress a little bit. They were comfortably beaten by Newcastle last time. And it'll be interesting to see how they react, actually. 4 of their 5 wins have been against the bottom 7 teams, although they did win at Liverpool. I'll give them that. But it was the goal totals. You're right. 4 out of 11 for both have gone over 2.5. Which means 7 out of 11 haven't. Forest's 1-0 win at Liverpool. The 1-1 at Chelsea. They can defend properly. It took really an exceptional team like Newcastle to be able to cut them open. I don't think Arsenal are quite that good. Even money under 2.5, Barry, is far too big. Absolutely, completely agree. We'll go for the unders. Next up at 3 o'clock is Aston Villa taking on Crystal Palace. Aston Villa are 3 to 5, minus 166. The draw here is 3 to 1. Crystal Palace 9 to 2, plus 450. There's quite a few games on this card, Baz, where I wanted to fade teams, but I didn't want to bet the teams they were playing against. Arsenal were just one, Villa's another one. I don't really want to pick either team here. Villa have only won 1 in 6. Their form against the bottom half teams is better, where they've won 4 out of 7. Maybe the international break has done some of their players good. A lot of them will have been away still. But I'm just not inclined to back them at 3 to 5 here at all. There's no patterns with their goals. The last 6 games have gone over, under, over, under, over, under. Palace got that win against Spurs, which was an opportunity to kick on, and they just didn't. They were very poor at home to Fulham. They got that 2-2 draw at Wolves. In the Palace game, that was one of my favourite picks, where we focused on their injuries and nothing much has changed. They've struggled. So, in a game, we often do this where I'm struggling to find a side. I can't find a side. I'm not happy with the side. I'm not happy with a team total or a game total. It's then into the stats. It's into the props, Baz. But even this was really tricky as well. I had to work hard on this game. What I got on, it's fucking rubbish as well. I don't like it, but I'm going to say it out loud. Ollie Watkins he's averaging 1.8 shot on targets in his last 5 home games. Over 1.5 Watkins shots on target is 11 to 10, plus 110. And that was about all I could find, Barry, that I would feel confident having a tenner on this game. So Ollie Watkins over 1.5 shots on target.
Exactly the same as you coming into this in terms of teams I wanted to fade, and this is one of the games, but there was 3 or 4 of them on this card where I thought I fancy taking a chance on someone here. Villa, no win in 5, 4 defeats in a row in all competitions. One of those was a 2-1 defeat to Palace in the Cup as well, at home. So I repeated this fixture just a couple of weeks ago. And the league form's just 1 win in 6 now. Now, obviously, Palace aren't much better. In fact, they aren't better at all. They're worse. But they have won 2 of their last 4, including a win over Spurs and a win over Villa in the Cup. And Villa at home last year was rock solid. He didn't really want to oppose Villa at home. In the Champions League this year, they've started the same. They beat Milan and Bayern, 2 cracking results. But they've drawn the last 2 home league games against Man United and Bournemouth. They lost to Palace at home in the Cup. And I just feel like the home angle for Villa isn't as much of a fear. It doesn't get me thinking I don't necessarily want to oppose them anymore. This one's purely a hunch for me. I get your point. You don't want to back. You might want to fade Villa, but you don't want to back Palace. I get that.
There's loads of teams I would have loved to fade Villa against. 15 or 16 teams in the league, but Palace weren't one of them.
But I've got to them in a fashion. I mean, realistically, you should be looking at this game thinking it's a good bounce back spot for Villa. I've just got a feeling Palace are going to play a part and might get something. It was purely a hunch. 9-2 Palace to win it. You've got 13-10 for Palace in a double chance to win or draw. And I've gone a little bit further because it's not a bad price. I'm taking them on the Asian handicap. Palace +1. So that's
Nice.
a push if Villa win by 1 goal, and I've still got the double chance. So I need Palace to win or draw, and I'm a winner. Villa win by a single goal, it's a push. At 5 to 6, -120, it's not a bad price. So that's where I've gone. I've taken Palace on the Asian handicap over Villa, +1 goal. I just think Palace will make a fight of this. And I know from what we've seen at Palace, there isn't much to back that up. But they've been a little bit better recently, just a little bit.
That 100% is the arse sniffer of the week, Baz. You had one at the back end of the Tuesday night future show that we did. But I like that a lot because that was a hard game. You had dug into 25 different markets trying to find something I liked. And you've done it. I like what you've done more than I like what I ended up with. 3 o'clock kickoff, Bournemouth taking on Brighton. Bournemouth 23 to 17, +135. The draw 12 to 5, +240. Brighton and Hove Albion are 2 to 1, Barry.
Yeah, this one's an interesting game, but a tricky one, really difficult one to sort of land on a side. I found Bournemouth have got 3 straight home wins in the league, including wins over Arsenal and Man City. And then Brighton are in good form, lost just 1 of their last 5 league games. That one was a tight one against Liverpool as well. So I did find it really hard to come down on a side and pick a winner in this one. I think every outcome is on the table here, particularly with Bournemouth being the home side. But I fancy goals. Both teams to score and over 2.5 goals has landed in 6 of the last 7 Brighton games. And a big reason for that is the fact that they're scoring 2 goals just about every week. They've only been shut out once. They've only failed to score 1 game all season. Ipswich got a 0-0 draw. But they've scored 2 or more goals, Brighton, in 7 of their last 9 games now. Now, Brighton are underdogs for this game, slight underdogs, plus money. And therefore, you're getting a decent price on them to score a couple of goals again. Say 7 of the last 9, they've scored 2. Bournemouth will play their part in this game. I think there's goals on both sides of it. But 6 to 5 for Brighton to score 2 is a price I like. So I'm going to take the Brighton team total, over 1.5 Brighton goals at 6 to 5. +120.
Yeah. Bournemouth have been fun. Beat Man City and Arsenal. They got a draw at Villa. But then lost to Brentford latest. 3 overs and 3 unders in the last 6. Makes it a little bit tricky. Brighton beat Manchester City. They've won 3 of their last 5, including against Newcastle and Tottenham. The only defeat in that was at Liverpool, who've beaten everyone. And the draw was the one that they somehow blobbed 2-2 against Wolves. So I kept this pretty simple, Baz. Brighton are better than Bournemouth, I think. Well, I don't think. Brighton are better than Bournemouth. So, yeah, absolutely done. The IT department just wandered in here in a green sequin dress split up to her thigh, and I have no idea why. She's either going clubbing or we might be having a pre-Christmas party season fashion show. But, yeah, a little clutch bag and a pair of red heels, and you'll be...
You've got to get her on screen now, Malcolm.
We've got a shoe box as well. Hang on. What colour are these shoes? Let's have a look. Live interruption. Oh, they're black. No, they're black, Barry. Oh, they haven't got a nice Diamante detail, though, across the toe. Right, clear off. We're talking about Brighton against Bournemouth, man.
I can't believe you didn't get her on screen for that. She could have had a poll. Everyone could have voted on the outfit.
Oh, I thought you meant like a pole dancing pole. I think steady on, Baz. Not that kind of show. It's a family show. Yeah, 2 to 1 for Brighton. However, people saying like Joe in the chat wants both teams to score an over 2.5 goals. Also, Joe wants a swingers party, which is an entirely separate event. It does look like a bet builder game, doesn't it? Everyone likes goals on both sides. I've fetched out this little beauty, Barry, and we've used the Semenyo ladder before. A lot of the lads like the Semenyo ladder, but over half a shot on target in both halves for Semenyo. He's hit 6 out of his last 7 games. So he gets a shot on target in both halves, 6 out of 7. It's 9 to 2. It's actually, that's on FanDuel, which I think you can get on over here. Certainly our American, Canadian listeners will be able to get on FanDuel. Plus 470, that bet. For Semenyo to have a shot on target, both halves. Okay, we'll move on. Let me tell you about Underdog Pick'em. One of the biggest menus for all sports: NFL, college football, college basketball, MMA, NBA, NASCAR, and more. You can use specials and boosts on all flexed entries. Use our code PLGP to claim a special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code PLGP. And Rhythm, SGPN's proud partner. Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds. Build your own model or copy one of the top performing models. Spreads, total, props, money lines, everything is on there. NFL, college basketball, NBA. Rhythm has got it all. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Right then, where we going? Everton. Is that the game 3 o'clock Saturday? Everton taking on Brentford. Everton are 13-9 plus 145. The draw 12-5 plus 240. Brentford 15-8 plus 187. Everton, no win in 3. 5 under 2.5s in a row for Everton as well. Don't score many goals. They have failed to score in 3 of their last 5. But the key to this game, Barry, is Brentford splits. We've talked about it last time. We got them right. We talked about it on Tuesday. It's something to look for going forward for the rest of the season. Played 5, lost 5 on the road, and you want me to take 15-8? You can't do it. Doesn't matter who they're playing. You can't do it. Like, they're in a false position. They've had 5 wins, 4 of which have been at home against the bottom 4 teams. The goal trend of both teams to score and overs, that's offset by Everton. So you've got one team at one end of the spectrum, one team at the other. So you have to offset those. This is what Sean and Ryan on the NFL show would call the close your eyes special, Baz. You're not going to like it. You have to close your eyes, hold your nose, and just go for it. We've all been there. We've all done it. Everton's oxygen over the last 4 years has been dog shit home wins against average teams. And this is right in the sweet spot. I have to take Everton at 13-9 plus 145, Barry.
Yeah, I couldn't get to that personally, but another one where I couldn't really land on a side. The standout stat for Everton, as you say, is the under 2.5 goals. 6 of the last 7 and 5 straight league games have gone under. They've conceded just 2 goals in the last 5 games, Everton as well. The problem with it is Brentford on the other side are full of goals. You've mentioned there's a total contrast between the two. 10 out of 11 league games, both teams to score has hit in the league for Brentford, and 9 straight games now, both teams to score. And if you tag on the overs as well, so overs and both teams to score, that's hitting 9 out of 11 and the last 5 straight games for Brentford. We talked, as you say, about the home-away splits for Brentford. But if you look at their away games, they have had a tricky run of games. They've played Liverpool, Man City, Spurs, Man United, Fulham. Above average run of games for them away from home. As I say, another one where I found it hard to come down and say, because the Brentford away form obviously puts the doubts in your mind. But do you want to back Everton? It's not for me. I'm not prepared to hold my nose at this point. So I stuck with the goals market. And it is hard because you're looking at 2 completely different sides of the coin, contrasting form lines. But I just think the Brentford form line for goals looks stronger because it's more sustained. It's 10 out of 11 games both to score. 9 out of 11 have hit the over 2.5 as well. And I know Everton have seen a lot of low-scoring games lately. But even at home, if you look at the home form alone, they've hit... I think the both teams to scores hit in 4 of 5, and the over 2.5 hit in 3 of their 5 home games. So there have been goals in the majority of Everton's home games, other than the 0-0 recently. It's 10-11 here, overs and unders, and I just felt the overs were stronger, mainly because of the Brentford form of it. Sorry, Brentford can't keep a clean sheet, so although Everton don't score many, Brentford don't keep clean sheets. But they can certainly put a few away at the other end. against anyone. I think the over 2.5 goals is the way to go here. So I'm going to go over 2.5 goals between Everton and Brentford at 10 to 11.
Okay, next up is the final 3 o'clock kickoff, which is Fulham taking on Wolverhampton Wanderers. Fulham are 11 to 17, minus 153. Draw 3 to 1. Wolves 4 to 1. Bat.
This is one where I want to fade the favourite. Fulham are right to be favourites. I get it from where the two teams are in the league, but I didn't think they'd be quite this short. And 4 to 1 for Wolves just stood out for me straight away. I felt for a few weeks Wolves would turn a corner at some point, and you'd have to say they've done so. They had a 6-game losing streak. They broke that with a couple of draws, and then they followed them a couple of draws up with a win over Southampton. Fair enough, it's Southampton, big deal. But as I've said over and over again, they've got goals in the Wolves. They've not failed to score in a game since day one against Arsenal. I think it was Arsenal on day one. I might have just made that up. But anyway, they haven't failed to score a goal since day one, whoever it was against. And I think, so the 10 games since, they've scored in all of them. And 5 of them they've scored at least 2 goals. Now, the problem is, though, coming up against decent sides in a lot of them games, and it wasn't 2 goals, wasn't enough. But if they're scoring as many goals as that, it's always going to give them a chance. And I think they're seeing their schedule ease up a bit now. They've been competitive in recent weeks against Brighton, Palace, Southampton. 2 of those are fellow strugglers. But I think Brighton's a fair comparison here. If you look at the league table, fair comparison with this, with Fulham at home. And it's not dismissing Fulham, who are in good form. They're unbeaten in 3. But they have dropped points in 5 of their 11 games. And not always against the better sides. Fulham have dropped points against Everton, West Ham, Ipswich already this season. I just think Wolves look value to me. Again, I've gone a little bit cautious. I've taken the double chance. Wolves double chance is plus money, 6 to 5, plus 120 for Wolves on the double chance market. If you want to be bold, I wouldn't put anyone off taking Wolves at 4 to 1 here. It's the goals for me with Wolves. If they can get a couple of goals, it might be enough against Fulham. And you wouldn't put it past Wolves getting a couple of goals here. So, yeah, the pick is Wolves double chance, 6 to 5.
Yeah, Wolves are a team that I would like to pick in the next few weeks. I think they've got a couple of wins in them. But it was just a tricky spot at Fulham, because Fulham have been surprisingly good, actually. This is one of these games 6 weeks ago, just on the name of the two teams. Fulham would have been 10 to 11 or even money, and I'd have been queuing up to bet them like we like the slightly better team at home at evens. We take it all the time. But 4 to 6 is short. They were very good against Palace last time out. But they did need 2 injury time goals to win the last home match against Brentford. They were 1-0 behind in the 92nd minute. They've won 3 of their 5 home games. Another team that you think have gone over, like an overs team, but only 5 of their 11 games have gone over 2.5. The price is fair, but it doesn't appeal to me at all. Wolves' fight back is underway, a win and 2 draws in the last 3. They played 9 of the top 11. Over 2.5, 8 of 11. So again, there's form for that. Like you've just made the point for all the goals. Both teams to score on over 2.5 goals was on a 7-game streak for Wolves until the 2-0 against Southampton. And Southampton did actually score a goal that it just got disallowed for no reason. So if you want to count that one, that's 8 in a row. But it was a 7-game streak until Wolves got that 2-0 win. That bet also would have hit in 4 of Fulham's 5 home games. So there's loads of data for the both teams to score in over 2.5, Barry. Tons of data. And it's plus money. It's 21 to 20, plus 105. 2-1 to somebody. Maybe even 2-2. We move on to the tea time kickoff. 5:30 on Saturday, which is 12:30 Eastern time, between Manchester City and Tottenham. Manchester City are 1 to 2, minus 200. The draw is 7 to 2, plus 350. Tottenham are 19 to 4, plus 475. Back-to-back defeats for Manchester City in the Premier League, and no win in 4 in all competitions, unheard of. You'd think a visit from Dr. Tottenham would be perfect, except Spurs have got quite a good record against Man City. They're the only team Spurs reliably turn up against. Manchester City have been quite reliable at home. However, they've won 4 of their 5 games. Only kept 1 clean sheet since the opening day, which was a 1-0 against Southampton. And injuries again. I think Ake is still out. We know Rico Lewis is out. John Stones was 25%. So a dodgy defence with a load of injuries. Tottenham are just stupid, honestly. Lost in the last 5. Over 2.5 goals, 8 of their 11 games. They've only kept 2 clean sheets all season, and they've lost 3 of their 5 away games. But this was tricky because I don't really want to take Man City 1-2. I don't want to take them on the handicap. They're not covering. I don't want anything to do with Tottenham. They're on the no-bet list. I found a trend, Baz. Here we go. Tottenham's last 4 games. In the last game, they were 2-0 down at half-time to Ipswich. In the game before that, they were 1-0 down at half-time to Villa. They won 4-1, but they were 1-0 down at half-time. The game before that, they were 1-0 down at half-time to Palace. And the game before that was 1-1 at half-time against West Ham. But West Ham did score first. So, Man City to be winning at half-time is 19-20 minus 105. So I'm all over that. Yeah, that's all right. So I thought it was tricky, but I like those trends. Man City winning at half-time, 19-20 minus 105.
Yeah, so I suppose you look at down the fixtures, and this is the one that stands out as possibly the game of the weekend, but not one that particularly filled me with delight in terms of finding a pick, because it's impossible to predict this Spurs side at the moment, although you've just tried to predict the first half. And then you've got City completely off the boil. As we know, Pep signed his new contract this week. Will that make any difference? Steady the ship, who knows? I kept it quite simple. City's form has dropped. They've lost 4 in a row, but they've lost 4 in a row away from home. Their home form hasn't dropped. They've only dropped points once all season at home, and that was against Arsenal. 4 wins from the 5 league games and a draw against Arsenal. Now, so I think City can still be trusted at home, and particularly against Spurs, who, as Lee's pointed out, Van der Ven's definitely missing. Romero is probably missing. I think Spurs are up against it. The thing with City is, though, they've only kept, in those 5 home games, they've only kept 1 clean sheet. So even when they're winning games, the 4 wins at home, 3 of them they've had to win whilst conceding a goal. And the City form as a whole, if you look across their league wins, their league this season, 5 of their 7 wins in the league have come with them having conceded a goal. So I think City will win, but I think Spurs will score. City win and both teams to score is 21-20 plus 105. So that's going to be my pick. I think Spurs will get on the score sheet. City will hit 3 or 4. And City win and both teams to score hits at 21-20.
Yes, that sounds perfectly plausible, Baz. Steve Gregory's joined us in the chat. How you doing? And Ian as well. Ian fast becoming one of our favourite regulars here. Welcome along, boys. Where we going? Sunday. 2 games on Sunday. A proper old-fashioned Super Sunday, 2 o'clock kickoff. Southampton taking on Liverpool. Southampton are 9-1. The draw 19-4 plus 475. Liverpool 7-25 minus 357. Baz.
Yeah, this is a pick again. It's a bit of a hunch, really, and the form doesn't really back it up that much. The one thing that stands out in the form: 9 defeats in 11 games for Southampton, tells you everything you need to know about them. Although you've got the 4 points they have picked up have come at home. But you can't condone anyone taking Southampton here in any shape or form, not with the form Liverpool are in. They've conceded 3 goals on 5 occasions already this season. 2-goal handicap has covered in Southampton games on 5 of their 11 games also. And I think this game's got potential to be worse for them. Now, the reason the form doesn't fit my pick is because Liverpool will need to improve on what they've done so far. Because Liverpool haven't scored more than 2 goals in 6 straight league games now. And in fact, 8 out of 11 games this season for Liverpool have saw them score exactly 2 goals. So 2 goals seems to be a bit of a barrier for them that they can't get past. They did put 3 past Bournemouth. They put 3 past Man United. But this one's one of the easiest away games you're going to get. I think Liverpool will get a few goals, and I think they'll get 3 here. So I'm going to take Liverpool to get past that little mental barrier they've got at 2 goals. Liverpool team total over 2.5 at 10-11.
Well, this is awkward, Baz. Right, Southampton is shite, in my opening remarks. 4 points that they've picked up have been at home. There's nothing to recommend them as a 9-1 dog. We don't mind throwing out the odd big price dog. I'll happily take a team if I think they can win. Don't fancy this at 9-1 at all. Only 5 over 2.5 again. The only game Liverpool have not won in the last 7 is against Arsenal. So the key really is, can they cover a handicap? They've only done it 5 times all season, so it's not very appealing. They had a 2-1 at Wolves. They had a 1-0 at Palace. They had a 2-0 at Ipswich. The under 2.5 price is far too big on the balance of what we know the best stats. 7-4 plus 175 for the unders. But my main play, Barry, is the Liverpool team total under 2.5. 4-5 minus 125. So the exact stone opposite. No help to anyone. They've only scored 3 times, twice in 11 games, Baz. I don't know what you're thinking.
You haven't played Southampton yet, Malcolm.
Southampton haven't been getting battered. They just getting beat. They got beat 1-0 off Man City.
They've conceded 3 goals 5 times already this season.
So that means they haven't conceded 3 goals 6 times. Hey, all aboard. Stats in my favour. Fill your boots. Harry thinks Liverpool are going to win 5-0. Michael's joined us. Michael, you did miss me. I said us. Me tipping Everton up earlier on. Barry copped out and went for goals. But and Joe wants Liverpool -3 on the handicap. Everyone's walking right into this trap. Liverpool are going to win 2-0. Big one, 5-6 to 1. Get on now. You don't have to thank us next week. We'll say no more about it. I'll just raise an eyebrow and we'll move on with the rest of our lives. Sunday afternoon is Ipswich Town against Manchester United. Ipswich is 17-4 plus 425. The draw 3-1. Man United 11-18 minus 163. Ipswich got a first win at Tottenham last time out. It was a good one. They had 5 draws and 5 defeats before that. They've been competitive at home. The key to this entire game is how you handicap Manchester United. Are you going to get the new manager bounce? How quickly, if indeed at all, can he implement a change of system, a change of style? Can he affect the results? These are all questions that are up in the air, and it's your personal viewpoint, what you think, how much effect you think Amorim can have on them. I've hated, Barry, the Man United Twitter this week. You've nodding your head, the same thing.
Yeah,
and it's not, remind yourself, our weekly reminder, I've had to give my head a wobble a few times. It's not real because it's the big, and I don't want to generalise. Football's for everyone. We're all welcome. Let 1,000 blossoms bloom, Barry. But it's the big Indonesian and Ghanaian and Indian accounts and people from the Emirates who speak stupid. And I saw one the other day saying, look at this, Man United are all the way back. Look what happened in training. And Amorim went and talked to Kobe Mainoo. That was it. He fucking went and talked to him. He like, well, come over. And he said a few things and he pointed, whoa, we're going to win the league for the next 1,000 years. However, then someone dug up a video of Ten Hag's first training session when he was bollocking the players. And the same accounts saying, this is it. This is the disciplinarian that we've needed for the last 20 years. Man United are never going to win. My favourite one ever, Barry, was some bloke saying, I'll tell you what, you somehow get past Casemiro and Amrabat and you're faced with Varane and Martinez and you miraculously get past them and you're faced with Onana. We're never going to concede a goal ever again. Like, and it's, I know it's not real, but it winds me up. So all of that Amorim shit.
I saw one yesterday was, I think both Rashford and Casemiro had put a social media post saying what a great, brilliant training session. And then it was like, look at this, the players are back, they're behind him. And then again, somebody found out the picture of Casemiro's thing saying, great training session from like a year ago under Ten Hag or whatever. It's like, it means nothing. Like, just calm down a little bit.
It's nice to see that the viewers in the comments are just as enthusiastic about Man United getting beat as we are. Apart from Courtney and Patrick, the Man United to win with over 1.5 goals total is Courtney's pick. Lee's desperate for them to get beat. Joe Dollar's picking up Johnny Evans. So I'm not betting the fuckers. I don't care. They might win. Listen, I'm not bothered. And I'm certainly not betting them at 11 to 18, minus 162. They've shown nothing to justify that price. They've won 5 away, one of their 5 away games. And you want me to back them at that price? Absolutely no chance. I'll take Ipswich. It's 17 to 4, plus 425. If you want to be slightly more circumspect, the double chance is 5 to 4, plus 125. I don't know why Man United would beat them. I don't know. But yeah, anything to do with Ipswich, please.
That's bold. I think if it was still Eric Ten Hag, I'd be looking the same. I'd be looking to fade Man United here. But it isn't, and it's the Amorim thing that does sort of just hold me back a little bit, because you question whether he will get a bit of an immediate impact. He's still got the same squad, but I think it's inevitable that one or two of those players who've done nothing for weeks will show up and show something for 2 or 3 weeks and then go back to being crap again. I mean, looking at this weekend, I did expect them to be a short price because I thought the bookies would overreact. But like you, I mean, without the managerial change, Man United have got no right to be odds on against anyone away from home. You said one win in 5 in the league. If you include the European games, they've only got 1 win in 7 away from home all season altogether. And that was against bottom of the league Southampton as well, by the way. The problem is Ipswich haven't been up to much either, let's be honest. 3 draws and 2 defeats at home. Highlight of the season was the away win against Spurs last time out. And I just found it a hard game because, I mean, if you want to take Man United in any short way or form, it's like you say, it's a close your eyes special. And I wasn't prepared to get there. But Ipswich just haven't done enough to fill me with confidence to really be able to go for Ipswich. I'll be honest, this was one of the games where I'd rather not have a bet. But as you know, we need to make a pick on every game. Over 2.5 and both teams to score is my pick. Ipswich have only failed to score once in their last 7 games. Man United might win, like you say, who cares? They might have a little bounce. Fortunately, this bet means I don't have to back Man United. So I'm taking the both teams to score and the over 2.5 goals here at 10 to 11.
Yeah, don't mind that at all, Baz. We'll take 2-1 Ipswich. Few people talking up Liam Delap. Lee got Liam Delap 2 shots on target at 8 to 1. Joe likes that. Callum's co-signing that as well. Liam Delap will be making an appearance later on in the exotics for me. The final game on the card is Monday night. And for the first time in ages, Barry, this has worked out in my favour. Because this weekend is when I'm in Forfar, wherever the fuck Forfar is. I need Coisty in the chat to point me towards Forfar Athletic. So I'm in Forfar all weekend, which means generally I would miss the match, but they put it on Monday night. So I'll be back from Forfar on Monday, and I can indeed go to the match. So that's worked out nicely. Newcastle v West Ham on Monday at 8 o'clock. Newcastle 2 to 1 on, minus 200. The draw 72 plus 350. West Ham United are 5 to 1, Barry.
Yes. So I think this might scupper our scheduling for the next episode, mightn't it? Because you're away Sunday, I believe.
You're out on Monday, aren't you? You're at the Cortinas.
No, that's Saturday night. But obviously Monday, you're at the match.
I'm at the match, man, yeah. Just said that.
So we might have to look at a possible afternoon scheduling.
We can do it at 11 o'clock when I get back in.
We'll see. We'll sort it out one way or another.
There's probably a better time to talk about it past than right now.
There is, Newcastle coming in with back-to-back home wins. Arsenal and Chelsea both succumbing to defeat at St James's Park. And, of course, a good away win. And more importantly, a good away performance, which we haven't seen for a long time at Forest. So I think it's reasonable to come into this one with some confidence for Newcastle. They've had the defeat at home to Brighton earlier this season. That was their only home defeat since we lost to Man City back in January last year. So the home form's still rock solid for Newcastle. And West Ham's away form isn't pretty. Just 1 win in 6. And a few heavy defeats in there. They lost 3-0 to Forest, 4-1 at Spurs, 5-1 at Liverpool in the Cup. I think Newcastle win here. They're a short price at 1-2. So I'm going to take them in the handicap market. -1 on the Asian handicap at 5-6. So I'll need Newcastle to win by a couple. But if they win by 1, we'll get a push. I've got another Asian handicap play here. Newcastle -1 on the Asian handicap at 5-6.
Pretty much the same, Baz. Those back-to-back wins for Newcastle against Forest and Arsenal, much better. We look healthy physically. We look a little bit more balanced. He stumbled across a better formation with Willock and Longstaff in there. They're clicking a little bit. And being good at home, that never really changed the last few years. West Ham are right in the shit. They're playing badly. 0-0 against Everton. 3-0 defeat. I've put 3-0 defeat against West Ham. They didn't beat themselves. Someone beat them 3-0 recently. Forest beat them 3-0. Their manager's toast, by the way. He's the second favourite to get sacked behind Russell Martin. Russell Martin's 5-4, Southampton. Lopetegui's 11-8, which I still think is an outstanding price because you're not going to be waiting months for that. He's going to be toast a week on Monday. Russell Martin's not going to get sacked. They won't sack him because they're playing Liverpool. Southampton get Brighton. West Ham will lose to Newcastle, will lose to Arsenal, and that's him done. If we beat them 4 or 5-0, he might be done on Tuesday. 11-8, genuinely, is a great price. I think Newcastle can duff them up at the weekend. I've got an Asian handicap as well, Baz. Slightly bigger testicles. I've gone -1.5, 13-10, +130. I think we can get them. In a little player prop, Alexander Isak was in good form again over the international break. Had a goal ruled out for offside when he was about 7 yards onside. Over half a goal or assist for Isak in 10 of his last 12 league games, Baz. 7-10, it's a little bit short, -140 for Isak to get a goal or an assist. But 10 last 12 is pretty strong evidence. So, yeah, they're my plays there. And we are done, Barry. Into the exotics. What would you like?
Yeah, I'm going to kick off with my lock and my underdog. My lock this week is going to be Liverpool to score 3 or more at 10-11, Malcolm. You like that one, won't you?
Flying in the face of my beautifully thought out pick.
Yeah, so your lock, what you got?
What for?
Your lock?
My lock. Fulham and Wolves, both teams to score over 2.5.
Okay, my underdog is going to be Wolves, 4-1 to beat Fulham as my underdog pick this week. Over to you.
Ipswich, 17-4. Although, honourable mention to Brighton. Brighton at 2-1 is a really, really good price. They're better than Bournemouth. It's that simple. Too big a price, 2-1.
Scorer for me, I've gone for Nicholas Jackson for Chelsea, 6-4 anytime scorer, and 5-1 first and last.
I like that, Barry, because he appears in my stake and Stilton accumulator. Anytime goal scorer for me is Alexander Isak. Looks in good form, looks healthy. He's good at home. He's going to terrorise West Ham on Monday night. We could get all sorts of ladder things. Hat-tricks in play for Isak, Baz.
And then in the ACCAs then, so the corned beef pie ACCA for me is an over 2.5 ACCA. It's Bournemouth v Brighton, Everton v Brentford, and Man Utd v Ipswich, over 2.5 goals, 4-1. My stake and Stilton ACCA is an underdog treble, 3 away teams, but 3 teams who are full of goals, Brighton, Brentford and Wolves. Plenty of goals in those 3 teams. All of them are capable of pulling off an upset away from home. So Brighton, Brentford and Wolves all to win. 45-1 is my stake in Stilton ACCA.
Get in. That's a beauty, Baz. I've got a 4-teamer over 1.5 team total. So 4 teams to score 2 goals or more for my corned beef pie. Chelsea, Fulham, Manchester City and Newcastle pays 7-2 +366. And for my stake in Stilton, Baz, I've done an anytime goal scorer treble. So Isak that I mentioned, Jackson that you mentioned, and Liam Delap that everybody mentioned. So it's a bit of a team ride there because between all 3 of us, everybody wanted a bit of that. That pays 18-1, Baz. Delap Jackson and Isaac, anytime goal scorer treble. That's me done. Ladder, Barry. Bazza's ladders.
Bazza's ladders. I'm going into the Man United game. I'm going for shots. Let's see if Amorim can get Man United going a bit more attacking. See if he can get his fellow countryman involved. It's Bruno Fernandes, shots on goal. He's had 4 or more in 3 of the last 4 league games anyway, and 4 or more in 5 of the last 8. He's hit 5 or more 4 times already this season. And we only need 3 to start off. So it's Bruno Fernandes, shots on goal, over 2.5 at 10-11. Over 3.5 at 12-5. Over 4.5 is 5-1. And he's hit this one once already. Over 5.5 shots on goal for Bruno Fernandes is 12-1. So yeah, little Bruno Fernandes shots ladder.
If you remember, Baz, you said he's only failed to do that one game. I took that very same prop a couple of weeks ago in that one game. I think it was the Leicester City. You obviously haven't remembered that.
So yeah, that's just shots, not shots on target. So shots on goal as opposed to shots on target. Over 2.5 and upwards. Well, shots on target has to be saved by the keeper. A shot on goal can go.
Just shots.
Shots on goal, it might be described differently on different sites, but shots you can put it 20 yards over the bar and that's a shot. It could be blocked on the edge of the box and that's a shot. For a shot on target, it can't be blocked. It can't go wide. Can't hit the post. So yeah, you can hit the post crosswise. Just a shot. That's it. Anything that the bookies deem to have been an attempt at getting that ball towards the goal.
Right. Okay. I think, Barry, we're done. The only thing left, everyone's an absolute tenterhooks to find out what I ate last night for the first time. I've got a couple of visual aids, actually. Give us 2 seconds, Barry. Nothing to do with the story, but, just helps things along. Give us 10 seconds. Hang on. I'm coming back now. Right, here I am. So, right. Last night, Baz, I was working for Barber, the wax jacket people.
Yeah.
Anyone American or Canadian in the chat? I don't know if you have Barber over there. So I was working for them and I stole this bucket hat. I also stole, Barry, 2 tins of wax that you're meant to wax your jacket with. I've got no use for them whatsoever. I know I've got about 15 quid a tin, like. So if anyone's got a Barber coat, drop us your address and I'll stick them in the post for you, like. But there was loads of food stalls there. And I went to get a minted lamb kofta, Barry. I asked the woman for a minted lamb kofta. But before I had to say, don't do that, because I thought I was allergic to this thing, she just lashed it. She put a spoonful of, Barry, couscous in the bottom of the dish before putting me minted lamb kofta on. Well, I'm allergic to the pulses, the legumes, Barry. And I just assumed for years I was allergic to the couscous. But I just thought, well, listen, I'll have a little half a forkful because it was all over me lamb and me sauce and everything. I'll have a little half a forkful. I gave Harry me EpiPen. I said, if I swell up, just stab me. Let's gamble. And I was fine. So we then Googled what couscous was, which is semolina. We then Googled what semolina was, and it's just wheat, Barry. The whole time I've been avoiding it, and it's just wheat. So now I'm going to eat nothing but couscous for about 3 weeks until I get actually sick of it. So
you get bored of that quickly, like.
Were oysters, tripe, snails, cock, avocado, turnips, hot black lime, and mango. All incorrect. The answer was couscous, Barry. So there you go. Are you a couscous fan?
Not really. It's just a bit boring. I'd rather have rice.
Yeah, that's pretty much. Like, it was all right because it was sort of restauranty, so there was a bit of mint in there. Yeah. There was a bit of maybe.
That's it. I mean, if you're plain couscous is crap. If you can make it with a bit of Moroccan spices and a little bit of flavour in it, and it's okay. You might remember can you remember when I had that red tilapia and I was going to come up with a recipe for cooking red tilapia? Yeah. It's still in the freezer. I've never done anything with it. That was going to be
still in the fridge.
Moroccan spices and a bit of couscous, but I never got around to it. So there you go.
This hat makes me look like I caught that red tilapia for you, Barry. It's a nice hit, this, 35 quid's worth of Barber bucket hat. Andy, our resident paramedic, in the chat. I was enjoying that allergy roulette game. Says it's keeping him in a job. So there you go. Well done, Baz. I enjoyed that. First of many very busy pick shows between now and the festive period, Baz. So yeah, good. We need to get some winners on the board. Anything you want to tell the people about before we go? Or hang on a minute. Steve's coming in with the blackened tilapia in his skillet, Baz.
I'll get AI to Google me to search a recipe for the blackened tilapia. AI's been doing good with the recipes this week, actually, Malcolm. I've made myself a lovely chicken and chorizo rice using an AI recipe tonight. So there you go. There's AI mentioned again.
Why would you need AI to do that, Barry?
It was just a bit of fun in it. I'm just experimenting.
It's not fun. It's not fun.
Anyway, we've been on here for far too long, Malcolm. It's time to go.
We've been on 6 minutes too. We're going to get bollocked now, all because we've been talking about couscous. Absolutely ridiculous. Right, good luck, everybody. If anyone's in the Forfar region, come and say hello. I'm in the Royal Station Hotel or something like that on Saturday night. Right, thanks, Baz. Well done. We'll be back possibly on Monday after Newcastle beat West Ham, and I've had 5 pints, so that might be fun. Good luck with your bets. We will see you all down the road. Cheers.